Check 1, 2.
You're fine. You're perfect.
Billy is self-taught. He created all this stuff you see.
It's impressive.
He dropped out of high school. We didn't drop out. He graduated, but he was the last in class.
Sounds like me.
Yeah, I had 18 in my class, and I was number 18. I literally don't know why they graduated me.
Could you start the show off by saying that?
And I have with me David Smalley. David is an atheist and hosts a podcast, Dogma Debate. He's also a speaker, activist, author, and a comedian. David, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So you are an atheist. Why?
I was a very involved Christian. I was involved in the ministry, the music ministry. I was a drummer for a couple of churches. My dad was around a little. We were friends. He's a decent guy. He just wasn't super involved in my life. And so I think I sort of sought the Father in Christianity as a role of guidance. I was door knocking. I was doing the ministry thing, and I had a woman slam a door in my face. I said, "I'd like to talk to you about our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ." And she said, "Honey, you need Jesus," and slammed the door in my face. And then I thought, what if she's right? What if on the other side of that door is the real version of Jesus, and I'm worshiping this different idea? What if my church is wrong? How do I know these few people in this small town in Texas, where I was originally from, how do I know we have it right? And so I was like, I need to read the Bible for myself. I went on a 14-year journey to figure out what the correct way to go about worshiping really is. I was trying to believe. I desperately wanted to believe.
Right.
And the Bible just made it fall apart for me. My first thing was, if God does exist, he's a monster. He's nasty. And he can't love us and be amazing and also be nasty. It doesn't make sense.
So reading the Bible convinced you that there is no God?
That's right. I encourage everyone to read their Bibles. People think they read the Bible because they know verses, meaning they'll go to a church, the preacher starts a sermon with a verse, and he uses that as sort of a launching point for this amazing motivational speech. And you walk out of church feeling great, and you think that's because of God, or you think that's because of the Bible, when maybe 10% of what you heard was from the Bible. The reason you feel so good is because there's a very charismatic person speaking that makes you feel good, and that's okay, that's good, but you're not really getting that good feeling from the Bible. When you read the parts of the Bible the preachers avoid, that's when you start to open your eyes.
In what way did the Bible convince you that God is a mean, nasty person?
Oh my goodness.
Give me an
How
example.
long is this show?
Give me something in there that convinced you of that.
1 Samuel 15:3. God tells Saul, I want you to go wipe out the Amalekites, completely destroy them, kill the men, women, children, the nursing infants. It says, kill the ox, the donkey, the sheep, wipe out everything. Now, if we had a president do that today, we would say he's a monster. We would call him evil. We would impeach him. There's no way we would support that. But because it's a God, we worship him.
How long were you a Christian before you realized that there is no God, and if there is a God, he's a mean, nasty person?
All my life until I was about 15 or 16, I started having my doubts. I was actually baptized, and the moment I was baptized, I thought, what have I done? Not because I was an atheist, but I didn't feel good enough to be called a Christian. Because I'd been given the jersey, called the Christian, sent out on the playing field to go knock on doors, and I didn't know any of the plays. I didn't know what I was really pushing. It'd be like someone telling you to go out and sell these vacuum cleaners and you've never seen them before. Why?
So did you become a Christian by choice, or did your mother or someone encourage you to become one by taking you to church?
You know, they weren't really active in church. When I was about 14 or so, I decided on my own. I was at a football game, and they did what they called fifth quarter, and they were like, a bunch of the cool kids are going to the church. So sort of peer pressure. I went, talked with the pastor, and I ended up walking down the aisle and getting saved on my own.
Yeah.
And it only took about 1.5 years for me to get baptized. And once I got baptized, I was like, I don't really know. I've joined a team and I don't know what it's about.
And so when you would talk to your minister about it, or pastor, hey, I joined this team, but I don't know what it was about. It's all about, what did he say?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I actually went to him. I was working at a tire shop at the time. And I went to my pastor and I said, I can't tell, is Jesus the Son of God or is Jesus God? And he flipped through these Bible verses so smoothly, so charismatically, and proved to me beyond a shadow of a doubt that God and Jesus are one and the same, that they are the same entity. And he explained like an egg with the Trinity, 3 parts, but it's one egg. And I walked out of there absolutely convinced this problem was solved. The next morning, Monday morning, I went to work at the tire shop, and I had 2 friends there that were Pentecostal. And we got on the topic of Jesus being the Son of God, and I was like, well, he's the Son in the fact that the yolk is separate from the egg white, and I tried to do what my pastor did, and I failed miserably. And then they pulled out a Bible. They always kept their Bible with them. They flipped to different verses in the Bible and proved to me beyond a shadow of a doubt Jesus is not the same as God. He is the Son of God. They would point to verses in Mark, for example, where someone walks up to Jesus and calls him good. Jesus turns to him and says, "Why do you call me good? No one is good except God alone." It's all up to interpretation. So I started doubting the Bible as a reliable source.
And so while going through this whole process as a Christian, did you have inner conflict?
Oh, absolutely.
Describe the conflict.
I so badly wanted it to be true. I wanted to believe. I wanted to know that when I die, there's a better place for me to go to, that I was going to get to see my great-grandparents and my grandparents and the people that I knew that had passed. I wanted there to be eternal happiness in this wonderful place, but it just didn't make sense. So there was this logical aspect of my brain going, why would you go to heaven to worship at the feet of a God that ordered infants to be murdered? And the more I read it, the more I realized it didn't make sense that it existed at all.
And do you still have conflict today?
Not about that.
But you have conflicts about other things within you?
I suppose sometimes. I think everyone does.
Like what, for example?
I would say certain moral decisions. I don't know. I can't really think of anything. It's probably small things. And
so you went through this scripture thing, and so at some point you said, I'm done. There is no God. At what point was that?
I don't know that there was a single point. I think it was just gradually over time where I would say, I'd be reading along in the Bible, and I'd go, well, that's strange. Let me make a note of that. In Genesis, it says there were 3 mornings and evenings before there was a sun and moon. But the sun wasn't created until the 4th day. And I'd go, that's strange. How was there a morning and evening without a sun and a moon? God was the light. Okay, did he go on and off at nighttime? What do you mean? Weird things. And I would just write that down and go, I'll come back to that.
Right.
And then I would get to something in Leviticus where it says, Exodus, for example, Exodus 35:2, you can't work on the Sabbath or you'll be stoned to death. You'll be killed for working on the Sabbath. And then a few verses later, a man is caught picking up sticks because he wants to kindle a fire for his family to keep them warm. People catch him and they take him before God. They don't just kill him because the book says so. They take him before God and say, we caught this man picking up sticks. Is that work? What do you want to do with him? God says, I told you what to do with him. Kill him. And at the end of it, the things that I didn't understand, the things that bothered me, the things that were disturbing, far outweighed the good things. And then I realized all the good things that I love about Christianity, that I love about peaceful versions of Islam, the things I love about religion, I can have those without the superstition, without the hatred, without the division that comes with my denomination's better than yours. I can have that in humanism. It's a no-brainer.
And so from that, you decided there is no God.
I didn't decide there is no God. I realized there wasn't enough evidence for me to believe in a God.
And so do you believe there is a God?
I do not believe that any of the gods that have been proposed have sufficient evidence to warrant belief.
But do you believe there is a God, though?
I thought we just went over it.
No, I'm just trying to give me a yes or no because I'm black and slow. Do you believe
what are you talking about?
Do you believe there is a God?
I do not believe there is a God.
Oh, okay. And at the point when you believe that there is no God, did your life change in any way?
Actually, it was a gradual process. But once I came to the realization that I no longer believed, I cannot describe to you the amount of joy that I felt, the amount of relief, the fact that I don't need to fear hell because there is no such thing, the fact that this is my only life, this is my life. My urgency for life is now tenfold. that I don't think this is some sort of practice run. That's made me a much better person than when I was a Christian and I thought, only God can judge me, I'll spend eternity in heaven. I didn't take life as seriously.
So it's easier for you to believe there is no God?
No, I don't think so. You realize that you're on your own. It's almost like moving out of your mom's house for the first time and you go, okay, there's no one taking care of me, I gotta take care of myself. There's no one watching over me, I gotta watch over myself. I'm never gonna say let go and let God. I have to handle my problems. But it's more peaceful because I have no reason to dislike you. I have no reason to care what you do in your bedroom. I have no reason to care what tribe you're from or what denomination you are. All the reasons in the Bible to hate other people, they're all gone for me.
So you believe believing in God gives you a reason to hate others?
I think it's very divisive, yeah. I mean,
but there's nowhere in the Bible where God gives you a reason to hate anyone.
Luke 14:26, Jesus says, if you do not hate your mother, you do not hate your father, and hate members of your own household, you cannot be my disciple. Jesus was extremely divisive. In Matthew 10:34, Jesus said, do not think that I came to bring peace. Right. I did not come to bring peace. I came to bring a sword or to bring division, depending on what version you read. To set a man against his father, to set a daughter against her mother. He wanted to make enemies of people's own households to create division.
Really? Why would he want to do that? In your mind?
To have people follow him. All cult leaders want to do this. Look at people like David Miscavige from Scientology. He wants to divide families, keep people apart, build the wall around the castle, and not let people out. David Koresh did the same thing. Jim Jones did the same thing. Jesus was a cult leader of his time, if he existed.
Where do you get your morals from now that you don't believe in God?
So there's a concept called the veil of ignorance. John Rawls developed it. Essentially, you look at a situation, but from the perspective that you're behind a veil of ignorance. So you say, okay, rape, for example. You're going to be behind the veil of ignorance. The veil of ignorance is you don't know which role you're going to play in the situation. Are you the rapist or are you the one being raped? Well, if I don't know which one I'm going to be, I realize that rape probably shouldn't happen. And I can say, okay, rape is a bad thing because I wouldn't want to be raped. Harm is a fact of reality. If you torture a baby for your own enjoyment, you're causing harm to that child. That's not subjective. There's an objective harm that you're causing.
How about abortion? Do you support abortion?
To a certain degree. Again, I'm not full on, 10 seconds before it comes out, kill it.
Do you believe that a woman has a right to kill an unborn child in her womb?
To a certain degree.
What does that mean, a certain degree?
Well, I believe if the fetus is viable outside of the womb, and there are no intense medical problems that's going to cause that child a ton of suffering once it's born, we should probably have some guidelines in place to protect it.
But how do you determine all that before the child is born?
There's plenty of ways through medical science to determine if a child is going to be healthy or if a child is going to have debilitating disorders.
So let's say that the child is going to have Down syndrome.
Oh, no, not at all. I wouldn't.
And the child is in the womb. Do you think that's a justifiable reason to kill the child in the womb?
I think it's up to the mother to a certain degree.
No, what do you think?
If the fetus is viable outside the womb.
No, how about inside the womb they find out that it has Down syndrome?
Yeah, so.
Do you personally think that it's okay at that point to kill the child in the womb?
I think it's none of my business.
No. What do you personally think about it?
Yeah, that's my thought. I think that decisions like that should be between women and their doctors.
Do you believe there is a right and a wrong?
Sort of. It depends on the situation. That's too vague.
What do you mean?
Well, a right and a wrong in what situation?
Is it wrong to kill a child
wrong
when
for
you
me
find out that it has Down syndrome while in the womb?
Is it wrong for me to? Is it wrong for me to stab you in the mouth with a needle?
Hold on a minute. Would it be right to kill that child once you discover that in the womb, or wrong? In your opinion?
I don't think there's a right or wrong answer to that. I think that's a personal decision between women and their doctors.
And you don't think it's right nor wrong?
Right.
Amazing.
Because let me ask you like this: is it wrong for me to stab you in the mouth? I think that's a no. But then if you say, well, I'm a dentist and I'm actually going to pull your tooth. Now is it wrong for me to stab you in the mouth with a needle? Well, now it's good. Yeah, that's okay. What my point is, these situations are fluid.
I mean, if I'm about to kill you or if I'm attacking you, you need to stab me and then it'd be right to do it.
Right. So do you think it's wrong to have an abortion if the child has a medical diagnosis that it's not going to live more than 10 weeks It's going to be in absolute pain. It's got a debilitating bone disorder. Its skin is already coming off of it. Would you support a late-term abortion?
No.
So you would be in
Absolutely
favor
not.
of the child suffering then?
Yes.
That's incredible to me. See,
Yeah.
I as a humanist would want to reduce suffering. We put our
Why?
we
You
put our
don't
dogs
have a
to
right
sleep,
to decide who shall suffer and who shall not.
but we do all the time.
Do you have the right to make that decision?
I think we have an obligation.
Do you have a right to make that decision?
I think we have an obligation
No,
to reduce.
Answer my question first and then go to your obligation. Do you think we have a right to make the decision
Oh, yeah.
who should suffer and who should not suffer?
Yes, I do.
You do, and why?
Yeah. Because I think we have an obligation to reduce suffering because we are here together. Other human beings are all we have. There is no God that's going to swoop down
But
and
then
save
you're
the day.
playing God that you don't believe in.